Hello, welcome to Actual Play, the Twitch channel where we play actual play. I'm Sean Nittner. I use he, him pronouns. Tonight we are playing World of Dungeons in the wake of the Sorcerer Kings. We're playing, we're trying dungeon delving from a communal standpoint, where the delves are more like municipal city problems than they are strange foreign adventures. They're the Sorcerer Kings left the city with all of these planar attachments to dungeons, and so we have to mostly it's sort of like keeping the sewers and it's like taking care of the mail and the sewers and the fire department. That's what the Delver's job is like. It's very cool. I'm playing Micah. They are a werewolf ranger who just went into a dungeon last time and came out with new problems. So, well, maybe not problems. Who knows? New opportunities. Someone they were not expecting to see caught them at the very end of the session. So I'm excited to see how that goes. How about you, Judd?
Hey, I'm Judd, he, him, and looking forward to getting back to this weird game. I wrote. I always say it's weird when I think weird is just my code word for I'm excited about it, but I'm not quite sure why yet. Wrote a bunch of notes on it in one of my notebooks and got a bunch of stuff down in the Google Doc and yeah, it's good. I am excited. I've got the Google Doc I share with Sean, and then I've got like an MC's guide where I write other stuff that maybe the player might not want to know. I don't know. Maybe I'll just end up sharing that one too. But uh, made the Municipal Delvers Union logo
Very cool.
this weekend, which was fun. And then I messaged Janelle Jakeways and said, "Hey, you're a pioneer in dungeoneering and adventure design, and I just wanted you to know that we named our fantasy city after you, and I've got a T-shirt with your name on it, which might be a little weird, and if you don't like it, I'll stop. But if you do like it, I can send you a T-shirt because I feel like it's the least I can do." And she was very gracious and said, "I'm honored, and just so you know, it's pronounced Jake Ways, and for when you're talking about it." And I don't want a T-shirt, which is totally cool.
Very very understandable.
I should
I
have gone with a
generally
pin.
also don't want a T-shirt.
I should
Very
have gone
well.
with a pin or like a magnet. I could have. I think I need to not lead with the T-shirt and go like other ways. I think
Coffee
they're
mug.
coffee mug.
Sure.
Would you like a coffee mug? I'll message her back and say, hey, there. If you'd like a coffee mug or a pin, let me know. I'll totally send one of those to either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, or it could just be like, hey, your logo is hideous. There's no way I want that in my house. What are you doing? Which is a reasonable reaction, just totally reasonable. So yeah, and in these games we'll be using maps by Dyson Logos. So if that is a thing that interests you, go to dysonlogos.com, dysonlogos. Their their maps are amazing, and I've been using them in games for ages, and it's nice to be able to kind of have a game that celebrates them. I have long lamented that when we do delving games, the map is something that the GM gets to kind of look at and not share. So I wrote something into this where it's like, hey, we have old records, or there are weird little constructs that go into the portal and map out the dungeon and come back and print this thing out. So you have a map. However you want to, rationalize it. We've got a map. There it is, and I'll just look at the map, and we'll look at it together, and we'll explain. I'll explain what you're seeing and like where you're standing. And sometimes the map will be unreliable, which is cool too, and
Yeah.
we'll sort it out.
I mean, it makes
But
me feel like firefighters like looking at blueprints. Like, okay,
totally
we've got a fire. It's trapped in this room. Here's all of the events, and like the blueprints may be incomplete. They may not include renovations that have happened recently. They may not show all the duct work. They're never perfect, but you're going. I don't know. I always feel like there's so much of any game that's like in a GM's head that you just can't possibly convey to your players, that
right.
if you can give people a couple lists of things that they might expect and make some maps and whatnot, it overcomes so much of that like time spent trying to figure out is what's going on in your head the same thing going on in my head, so
Yeah.
that we can operate in the same shared fiction that we're creating. Because otherwise, we do the thing of like, wait, I thought I was on the ledge. Hold on. And I don't like, moving 5 foot squares, but I love maps. I think they're beautiful. I'm glad that we
Yeah.
can use them in some cool way. So
Yeah. No, I don't want to move 5 foot squares either, but I'll be glad to like draw ugly little arrows and stuff and do it that way. So yeah,
it's,
definitely an apocalypse world vibe for the maps. Leave lots of white space, draw lots of ugly lines on them for combat and who's moving where and who's trying to do what, and then we'll end up with a big glorious mess at the end, and that
love
will
it.
be fun.
Love it.
That'll be fun.
So do you want to pick up where we left off last time, or do you want to?
Yeah, I think absolutely. You end up after the last shift back at the chapter house, which is in the Fleet Borough.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's this what we said, it was like a building on the docks, or is it like a beached ship? What what did we think it looked like? I thought we described it, but now I can't
I don't know if we
quite figure
have.
out.
I think it's a building on the docks. Yeah, I don't think we described it, but I think it's a building on the docks because it's kind of on the edge of the Fleet District, and I think it's adjoining the Tower District. I think it's just
Cool.
sort of, uh, just sort of shy of the Tower District. And so yeah, you
Cool.
can get to it via land, but there's also a bunch of other, you get to via canals, and there's a bunch of like rope bridges from other semi permanently docked boats that get to it as
Nice.
well. So
Nice. Love it. And yeah, I think you're kind of, taking your gear off and putting it in your locker. And uh man, I need, what I don't have for this game is a naming convention. So I'm
oh yeah,
really like pulling stuff out of nowhere.
right.
I'm
You're gonna
gonna have to figure something out
no,
because
no I don't want to short circuit this scene at all, but I think where we left off last time is I was just about to, it had been like a week later, and I was just about to head to the chapter house, and uh, a vampire said,
oh
"Hey, help
shit,
me! I'm being hunted."
oh
Um,
shit,
does that
yeah.
does that sound right to
That does
you?
that rings a bunch of bells. I had a bunch of like post. Uh, yeah, I wanted to go too far back, or
No,
too
that's all good. We could
not far.
definitely do a flashback to how does the end of the delve look, because we were sort of talking about that, but
Yeah,
then I think we could then flash back to, okay, I'm about to go on the next delve, and this complication
yeah,
ensues.
love it. Yeah, I think that's awesome. And there's another Delver. Let's the vampire thing happens, and then we kind of flash back to right after the delve, and
Perfect.
there's another delver who went into a delve that you turned down,
Yeah.
uh, who named Arnie, who had a decent night. Nothing huge recovered, no real lore or anything. Just kind of went in, made sure everything was good, and closed it up. Closed it up for business so that no one would be coming out the wrong side and plaguing the community. And Arnie says, I think Arnie's getting their stuff off, and even if you have a pretty easy night or an average night, you're still kind of exhausted. You're still covered in sweat and taking off
Mhm.
armor. And Arnie says, Micah, how'd it go?
On a scale from one to apocalypse, I guess it was all right. I got bit by a proto vampire. Unclear,
Oh
unclear
shit.
whether or not they're. The priest looked at it and said, "I should be fine. Just packed it with a bunch of garlic and told me to come back and take a look. Uh, and discovered that basically all the people who were causing trouble in there had already left, and so in the end of the day, I think the dove was for naught. And
Right.
I took two, oh man, I can't believe I took 2 damage from the bite, and I took 1 damage from something else in
Maybe a
there.
crab.
Yeah, maybe it was a crab. And so I'm like nursing a couple wounds. So I'm like
Yeah.
sitting in there and like we're all taking off our stuff and I'm looking at my arm, trying to see like putting it in the light, trying to see if it just looks bloody and ugly or if it looks infected, if I have any black veins or anything like that, and
Right.
washing it clean and Um so yeah. My response is there's definitely been better.
Right.
Um but at this point, again, I don't know what's happened. So I said, I think I found a vampire den, a vampire church, a vampire coven, and it looks like they woke one of them up. So that's a thing now. We got some vampire,
Oh
presumably
shit.
running around the city.
Oh shit. It's out here, huh?
Well, there are not many other choices. I mean, I scoured enough of the dungeon to know that the only way that it really went was out. And so it's probably in Jakeways, unless it had some other goal, some other part of the city. Took the dragon rails, but my suspicion is we got a vampire running around.
Yeah. Arnie nods and says, "Get that paperwork in. You don't want to get caught up in that hunt."
Yeah. They can. I've had enough to do with the Blood Mother already, and the Red Mother and the Pale Surgeon. I don't want either one of them. So yeah, I said. Now was Arnie going to the Mega Dungeon or into the Crown Stones,
Uh,
or a different one
Arnie
altogether?
Arnie went into the Crown Stones.
Okay. Yeah. Arnie, what'd you find in the stones?
I don't know. People mummified and their ghosts were doing something and giving people strange dreams, and maybe it communicates with something that's up in the heavens, or I don't, but and the ghosts pilot it. I don't give a shit. I threw some holy symbols over all of it, made
Yeah,
sure they
smart.
couldn't broadcast the wrong way. If you want to talk to your satellite cathedral, God's bless, but don't give us normal working stiffs weird dreams, could you
Yeah,
please?
we don't need dream pollution. That's just like another thing. I don't.
Oh shit! Oh, someone write that down. If we were at the gaming table, like I would be like in my notebook on the table. I would be like, click dream pollution. Like someone jot that down, please. Yes. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Dream pollution. I'm writing that shit down. That is amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's a mess. It's a thing. Did you
Yeah,
did you
smart.
did you hear about how things went with Skez
On the Mega
on
Dungeon?
the Mega Dungeon?
No, I don't think he's made it back yet. Or either that or he got in real quick. My guess is this is why I don't want to do it. My kid's got to play tomorrow, and I knew it was going to run OT, and I just don't need you know overtime in the dungeon. I'm
Yeah,
sure Skez is in there mapping away. There was
right.
a lot unfinished about the dungeon. I might go in when I got time, but I want to make a weekend of it, not a trek. So not a
Sure,
single
sure,
trek.
sure. Yeah, I mean, it's just you don't know when they're going to need somebody on a day where it's your day to pick. It's just one of those things. But
Yeah, right.
I hear you. It's not always yours to.
Yeah,
Life
well,
life, life gets in the way.
I'm sure if Skez maps it out, it's gonna be, it's gonna look good to the bosses, and it'll probably get a bonus, and but
Yeah,
I don't know. You
I hear
can't you
you.
can't jump on every opportunity.
Yep,
Sometimes you
and I
gotta.
think like on the other side of the locker room is the day crew, right? And they're coming in, getting ready to go out as
Oh
you are
yeah,
all going to sleep, and then the sun is coming up, and the city is waking up, and you're on a totally different shift and schedule than the rest of the world, and one of the folks over there who is going into the mega dungeon this morning says, "Word is Skez lost somebody."
Oh no.
That new magic user, the new kid.
Oh man, what is it with magic users? I was this close from losing blue. It came as the one with the blue mohawk, easy to remember. Um,
I like it when they're color coded and kind of everybody laughs.
yeah, they gave me this nasty gash. They're like half vampire now.
Well, wait! Blue bit you?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't their fault. The pale surgeon, some artifact of the pale surgeon cut them, infected them with some vampiric parasite. Then we opened up something that was just like rotten crabs from years ago,
Yeah.
and it smelled horrible, and everyone threw up. And then Blue's appetite was, well, needed to be sated, I guess. Anyway,
And like somebody like starts a side conversation on like what's the pale surgeon? Is that an SK? And
yeah.
he's like, yeah, like and I think
Oh,
when
they're
you
just right.
yeah when you get into a conversation with a bunch of other delvers, it like turns into like you know uh, uh, alphabet soup of is that an SK? Because you don't want to say Sorcerer King because
Right.
that's too long. So
Right.
uh, yeah. He didn't have a tower here or anything, but like he shows up every once in a while in other people's deals. Oh yeah, have you seen him? No, I hear it's creepy though. I don't like surgical shit. That's creepy. It
Yeah,
is.
had some real fancy statues in there. I mean, nice stuff, but creepy as all get out. Paired with a red mother, it's too many. Two SKs in dungeons is too many for me, honestly. I don't. But
And yeah,
so
and I think the same one who the same rookie who is like, the pale surgeon is that an SK is like Red Mother. That's like the Red Empress, and they're all like, yeah, it's the same Red
yeah,
SK. Yeah.
yeah, they get lots of names. They get lots of names. I think she was like a first stage. I'm pretty sure she was one of the original ones. So she was one of the first ones here. Lots of other SKs came and went, but she's OG.
Oh,
What
yeah.
I've heard. That's why she
They
has so many names.
they start ribbing you and like, oh, you're a lore master now, going to university.
Hey, I like to read up on my
You
delves.
know
I
you
don't
know
want to be
which
surprised by them.
which age the source of the SK comes from. My goodness, hoity-toity!
So
Put
does
away your
Skez
axe.
okay? I'm trying to change the subject.
Right,
So
right.
is Skez okay? If he lost someone?
Nobody likes losing anybody. Skez is going to talk to the family before he's calling it a day. Uh,
Yeah, smart.
we'll let you know when the funeral is going to be.
Hey, I'll go. Hey, which of you is working with Kassan today?
Uh,
I guess
yeah,
because Kassan might do this multiple shifts.
uh, yeah. I'm looking for a name. Hold on.
Sorry,
And no, it's fine.
Delvers.
No, I'm actually the way I'm finding the name is I'm grabbing my issue of Knock and I'm just grabbing like I'm butchering all authors' names out of it.
Nice.
Uh, yeah, there's a young Delver, the rookie, Vagabond.
Vagabond,
Yeah,
like vagabond, but bun.
yep.
Vagabond. Um, Vagabond, do me a favor. Ask Kassan how Blue's holding up. I don't want to have to go to two funerals.
I guess when it's her time to specialize, she might want to look into necromancy, huh? That's a cold joke, man. That's a cold.
Bad joke, Vagabond. Yeah.
Vampirism can be like it can be as bad as lycanthropy, and like the room gets dead quiet as everybody realizes,
Yeah.
and he's like, "What?" And like someone's like nods towards you, and he's like, "Oh, Micah, no, I mean like feral lycanthropy, not like what you did. What you did took eggs, big eggs. Good for you. You kept in the game when other people would have taken taken it and run. It's like somebody steps up and is like, "You stop digging a hole. We all work in holes all fucking day. Stop it."
Yeah, yeah. We don't need a new dungeon called Your Bullshit.
Yeah, and when you say we don't need a new dungeon culture bullshit, like I that got a literal laugh out of me, out of Judd. So yeah, it absolutely gets a laugh out of the room, and they give that Delver they give that Delver that daytime. Oh, it's always got to be a daytime guy who says bullshit like that.
Oh yeah.
They give that daytime schmuck a bunch of shit, and yeah, that's really all I wanted out of the
That's
locker room
perfect.
scene.
Yeah. No, locker room scene is good. Yeah, so
Cool.
I think but I do think, and we can use the move I drafted up or a version of it, or we can just narrate through it. But I do want to do the paperwork. Definitely inclined to let my boss Flint. My guess is that she's probably not on duty anymore because she was there to send us all out. My guess is that the day shift captain's there. So I just want to do my paperwork so when she comes in tonight, I am not entangled in a mess.
Cool. Yeah. Well, let's play with the paperwork move. Let's see.
Let's see. This is a move I literally made up. Well, I've been thinking about it, but I literally made it while Judd and I were talking. So it may need some refinement, but
okay.
The way it stands right now, it says for each of these are true, add +1 roll. Delve goals accomplished. Everyone made it out. The dungeon is no longer a threat to Jakeways. So in this case, I think I'm getting +2. Everyone did make it out, and their delve goals were accomplished. I definitely think this is still a threat to Jakeways. I mean, there's a vampire at large. There's more. The dungeon isn't like sealed off or anything like that. So does that sound right to you?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
And I like that you can get +3 and still roll a 5. Like you might.
Yeah. It's not a guarantee.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, I got a 9, so I'm holding 1, and I basically can spend that 1, anytime into the next delve, to add to the. Basically, I can either use it sort of selfishly for. I wish I could make this bigger. Oh, I can zoom. There we go. Trying to make this big enough that it's actually visible on stream.
Yeah.
There we go. So I can, and the morale clock and the funds clock don't actually mean anything yet. I mean, we just thought like those are probably something that exists, but I can spend it to, I can spend that hold anytime in the next delve to do one of those things.
Cool.
I guess the funds clock and morale clock you'd probably do immediately, but whatever. That's as far as I've gotten the move along. So
of it.
So yeah, and if I rolled a 6-, then I'm really in the muck. I'm on a vampire hunt or something.
Yeah. I wrote a couple. Let me share them just so they exist. Yeah. And we might, there's always a danger of, are we over moving? But let's see. In the wake of the Sorcerer Kings, boom, cool. And we can add it to the stream, and here we are. So I've got a union mandated lunch break. When you share lunch with a colleague, ask them some questions. If you use any of the answers during the delve, take +1.
Nice.
I like that one. I love moves where you don't roll any dice. It's one of my favorite things. And this is one that we were doing, so I just wanted to write it down because it was something we were doing. When you exit a dungeon, describe how you were exiting and what it would look like if the execution was perfect. Decide together on the proper stat. On a 10+, you get out without hitting anything new, but if there was a hot mess between you and the exit, the hot mess is still there. So I don't want it to be like 10+, you get out, right?
Right.
But it could be like I get out clean and I only have to deal with the crap that I know is there.
Right.
On a 7 to 9, you get out, but you either lose something, take damage, or are engaged in a running battle on your way out. On a miss, something goes very wrong and you aren't leaving until some complication is dealt with.
Nice.
uh, and then uh, we kind of did I did another paperwork one, but
Okay.
we don't need to. We can figure it out. We
Yeah.
can see another one, and then I made up like a kind of an XP thing. Did you overcome a challenge with cunning? Did you add a new entry into the monster manual or an addition to the map? Did you express something about your family, community, or neighborhood? Did you accomplish your session task, which wasn't a thing? Did you live up to the motto on your helmet? Again, not a thing that we had in there.
Right.
So we can add those things in and start doing them. But I think 0 to 1 is like an 8 count delve. Level 1 to 2 is like a 16 count clock, and that you have to tick off with these XP. And then 2 to 3 is a 32 count XP clock, and in addition to doing that, you have to found a chapter house or a secret society or train a Delph support specialist or recover an artifact. So like
Nice.
it's not just get XP; it's like get XP and do some other things. Very much inspired by into with Bastion Land and into the
Into the
whatever it was
dark.
called into the, yeah into no what was it called came before Electric Bastion Land. There was something else that I can't. Into the Odd, yeah,
Oh, Into the Odd. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So very
I
much,
only played that once, but really, really loved it. Yeah.
yeah. It's a very big inspiration to a lot of what I'm thinking about this game. So yeah, I mean, for 0 to 1, you just have to get the 8 count and survive a delve, and then for 1 to 2, you've got to get through the 16 count and either make a delve site safe in the community or make a monster manual contribution, or and maybe, and then for the 2 to 3, you've got to do a couple of other things to make the community better. So yeah, those are
Nice.
some thoughts,
Yeah,
and
I dig
well,
it. I like the way of XP tracking and also having like achievements that you need.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, we'll
Cool.
play with it. This is a work in progress
Yeah.
as we go, so that's fun. I
Do you
like.
wanna do you wanna take XP
Yeah, let's do it.
for so yeah, pull that back up.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh yeah, the
nice.
new fancy view.
New fancy video.
So World of Dungeons starts at first level rather than zeroth, I
Right.
think. So I think all those should be off by ones, 1 to 2,
Right.
2 to 3, 3 to 4. Does
Right.
that sound right? Cool.
It does, but yes, I like it ending on 3. So can we call 1 0? Is that
Yes,
I
I
don't
can
I
say I'm zeroth level right now. That's
yeah,
fine.
I don't know why and we're like, Judd, I have to push you. Why do you want this? And I would say, Sean, I don't know. Maybe it's because the original some of the original early D&D books only went levels 1 to 3.
Yeah.
And so I think it's cool for us to do that. So it is purely, I get it. It's really 1 to 4, but humor me.
Yeah.
And yes.
Yes.
So post session questions. We'll pretend we did this at the end of the last game. Did you overcome a challenge with cunning?
I don't know if I did anything that's super cunning. I mean, I sort of followed the trail um, from the sort of followed the trail to find the hidden texts. I think that was just observation. I don't think I was
Yeah.
being especially cunning though.
Okay.
Um,
I think I think you made some decisions that were pretty damn smart. I mean, getting Blue out of there and not just pushing through. Uh,
yes, I would say yes. Actually, I think keeping Blue alive and getting Blue out
yeah.
was what's separating me from Skez. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I take that. I take that.
Cool. Yep. That's a check.
Um, all right.
Check. Cool. Did you add a new entry into the monster manual or an addition to the map?
I did not. No.
Okay. Okay.
I looked up the monster manual. That was fun. I
Awesome.
remember using it, but
Another thing that I've always wanted to have be an in-game thing is a monster manual. So
yeah,
I'm glad that that's actually
In fact, that was another area where I think I was clever because I was trying to figure out what the one was blue, and I looked up in the monster manual and I found out that vampirism could be spread through the Pale Surgeon's,
Yeah,
implementation. And then I was
cool.
like, okay, I know what's wrong. Well, I don't know what's wrong, but I know that it could be wrong here. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah, awesome,
yeah.
awesome. So I'll add another check. So we've got 3 checks so far because we're going to do 2 with cunning because you used the monster manual, which I think is
Okay,
awesome.
cool.
And
Well,
you know
it's up to 2 ticks though, right? Right? Is that?
we're up to 3 total, right? Because you
But doesn't it say
uh,
post-session up to 2 ticks? Like you can only get 2 per, at least.
yeah, yeah. I thought, oh, we didn't add a new entry. Got it. Yeah, yeah. You're right. We're only 2. We're only 2. You're right. Because you didn't add a new entry and you didn't make a new addition to the map. Got it.
Yeah.
Did you express something about your family, community, or neighborhood?
Yeah, I think that as a first session, there was a lot about there was a lot about Fleet
Yeah,
and the house, as well as learning about Dole's, like the game, man, Wyvern Ball,
yeah.
and talking to Dole about their house. I think that's two.
Awesome.
I
Yep.
feel like there's a lot of that going on in the last
Yeah, yeah.
session
No, you was
where we
good.
did have a lunch break, like in the tomb with all like the caskets and whatnot.
Yeah, and again, very inspired by time at the New York Public Library. On the desk with someone, and sometimes you're busy, and sometimes it's kind of slow, and so you end up learning a lot about, whatever. Ar- you know, your colleague is from Armenia, and so you learn a lot about what being Armenian means to her, or your other colleague, is a DJ in his spare time. So you learn like a lot about electronica, and it's kind of cool, and I like that. So I like that you did that vibe. You held that vibe together really well for me for the lunch break. That was cool. Did you accomplish your session task? I don't know if we had a session task, but
The
maybe it.
mission that I was sent with was go in there and prevent and stop whoever is coming in and out from doing it. And
Yeah,
I sort of like I don't think they're doing it anymore. I think
right,
they did it. Like I think
right.
I identified what was happening, um, and now we know what's going on, and I can report. Oh, there's a vampire loose.
Yeah,
So I think in that sense, yes, but in like I couldn't stop them because they were already gone when I got
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's not fair. So yes, you absolutely did. So I think we can give you a check on that. That's totally
Okay,
cool.
cool. Up
And
to
and did you
5.
live up to the motto on your helmet? And I think that's maybe we need to write a motto on your helmet.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
so that's something to think about. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be today or tomorrow, but something to think about for future XP. Cool. And
All
other
right. So
things you can do
I
with
count that
levels.
as. Oh, cool.
Oh, I got 5. What did
Yeah,
you
that's
get?
what I got too. Yep.
Cool.
I'm at 5.
Cool.
So
Cool.
I'm gonna mark my XP as 5, and the amount I need to the next level is 8.
Cool.
Awesome. Other things you can do with level: train delve support, start upgrade chapter house levels 10 to 10, start upgrade secret society. Dig it.
Awesome. And I'm sure we'll figure out other things. And we'll, yeah, sort it.
Very cool.
Cool.
All right, so that was the post delve thing, and I think now are we? Do you want to cut back to
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely. Absolutely.
a week later? Next, about to head out on the next delve.
Yeah. And I think, the flashback ends as you're looking at the maps, um, of the what they call the wheel, what was called the wheel vault.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking at your notes where you circled where all the vampire corpses were, and
Mm-hmm.
then like circled one, double or triple, and said, missing,
Missing,
and
yeah,
uh and you kind of put that into the folder and close the folder, and like, you know maybe put it in pneumatic tube, because I love pneumatic tubes in any fantasy city. And so
sure.
it leaves with a thwomp, and gets filed where it needs to get filed by clerks, uh, somewhere downtown.
I think
And
there's some hydroelectric water wheel because we're right on the waterfront. There's some
oh,
like
nice.
hydroelectric water wheel that is, because we get like surges of, we're along the riverside, and so it's like capturing,
Love it.
that's powering the pneumatic tubes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. The first library I worked at had pneumatic tubes that were disabled, and I was like, oh. And in the old days, the high tech thing of this library was, nobody went into the stacks, right? It just wasn't something that was done. But there were students in the stacks, so you would put a pneumatic. People would come request a book. You put the request in a pneumatic tube, thump it up to the floor, 8 floors where the book was, and then the books would come down on a dumbwaiter. And this was high tech. This was
That's
in
pretty cool.
in the 60s when this thing went up. This was like state of the art library technology. And now we don't use it anymore, which makes me super sad. But of course we don't. We also don't have to pay to have a student on every floor. Like I I
Right.
I can only imagine what undergrads who had that job got up to. Like, well, during the hours they were waiting
They're just waiting for a tube to have to grab a book.
when nothing was going on. Like, I have nothing but the utmost respect for the student workers I've worked with. They're all awesome, but
Oh
uh,
man.
no, my
Yeah,
goodness,
but when you're
it must have been
bored.
bedlam. It must have been total bedlam, in the best of library ways. So very cool. Uh, so yeah, pneumatic tubes are they were a prominent part of my Blades in the Dark game, and I will gladly co-opt them to use them again here. Thwomp, we got more paperwork, pneumatic tubes, go, and then then we click back, from to the where we ended last game, which is uh, which is this young woman approaching you on the street and saying, what did she say? I need your help. Someone's hunting me.
I think so. Yeah, I think she said it. I need your
Yeah,
help. Someone's hunting me, and she looked very much like the sculpture of the Red Mother and the
right.
and the and
Uh,
the images of the vampires and the
yeah, yeah, and I think in dress that is more modern to this time,
hmm
uh, to this, to Jakeway's, the city that we're in. But maybe she has like a nose ring and like some bangles that harken back to this time, to things you saw in the dungeon.
yeah,
And uh, the reason why we're doing it this way is because on your paperwork roll at the end of the last game, you were kind of like embroiled in the monster hunt, and you kind of didn't want to be. Like, you were
yep,
writing the whole thing to be like, yeah, I don't need to be involved in this bullshit.
yep, exactly,
Because I think the monster hunters and the delvers, they don't get along. It's like firefighters and the police
exactly,
officers. It's
exactly.
that kind of thing.
Fuck those
uh
hunters.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. Which is cool. And yeah, so she comes to you and says, I need help, and I don't know where else to go.
and Micah sort of like looks at her for a second, sort of takes it in, like, okay, I guess this is like, as they're piecing together who this person is, and they kind of look up at the the city lights, and they're like, they don't have a watch, but it's like they know that they've got to get to work soon, and they're like, all right, I'm not doing this on an empty stomach. Tell me your story, but we're going over there to Tower District and getting some fried bread, and we're gonna sit in a cafe where there's plenty of people, and we'll get a little corner table and tell me what's going on with you. And
Yeah.
in the same way that they do when they're about to go into a delve, they sort of like put their hair back and like wrap it up into the bun, like, okay, it's business time, right? But it's
Right.
not going to be business time on an empty stomach. So like, cut to, you know Micah is tearing off a bit of fried bread and sort of offering it to the woman, like, I don't know if you eat anything with
Right.
blood or not.
Right.
If you do, it's really good fried bread. If not, no worries, more for me. What's
Yeah.
your
She
story?
she like takes some and just kind of plays with it. Uh because I think that's what vampires are used to doing to make it seem like they're normal.
Yeah.
And she says, I was awakened about a month ago, and when I tried to get back into the vault to see my sisters and look at my home, it was closed. It had caution tape all over it, and I couldn't get by. It was warded.
Yeah. Well, nothing personal, but we were sort of afraid that more vampires would be woken up from their sleep. It seemed like there was a ritual to put you to sleep. That's really gross. I mean, or at least seems really. It seems horrific. Ripping out your teeth? Isn't that painful?
It was painful, yes.
Why? I mean, I don't want to comment on your cultures because I don't know. But that just seems like a brutal thing.
The
But
Red Mother, the Red Mother created us to rule over uh, to rule over the lands that she had designated.
yeah, then she left, and now there are no more Red Mother lands. There's just Jakeways.
Yes. Uh,
So anyway, sorry.
me and
You
me and
said
my
you.
me and my sisters ruled over the lands that were designated to us. I don't know where they are on a map. I haven't found them on anything that makes sense. I've
Right,
looked.
right. Because you're, I think the wheel vault was like on a little island, right? Like we
Yeah,
got into the portal. I was like, yeah, yeah. I don't know if it was the Red Mother or another one of the SKs, but they linked your home to Jakeways. Anyway, I'm sure you could probably find it given enough time. Get on the Dragon Rail, go there, start a new kingdom in the Red Mother's name. But I don't know if that's well. I'm not sure that's even worth it because, as far as I know, the Red Mother just and all the other Sorcerer Kings just took off. I don't think that they really care about their creations. But you said
no.
you're in danger. The hunters are after you.
Yes, yes. Your city has hunters when they decide something is a monster.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. That's indirectly my fault. Not indirectly. That is my fault. I mean, I let the I filed the paperwork and let everybody know that there was a vampire woken, and yeah, we kind of think the assumption is that you're going to eat people.
Oh shit! Oh, that's great. I love it. Yeah, I just like that sentence exists. Yeah, the assumption is that you're going to eat people.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh fuck.
Am I wrong?
She says, I don't have to kill anyone. I can enter into other relationships that are mutual and have
Okay.
consent.
Okay. That's good. That's promising. I don't think the hunters are going to listen though. I think they're gonna just try and put a stake in your heart. Does that work? Wooden stake? I never know if
Yes, it
you
hurts like
know.
hell. Yes.
Yeah,
It also works with humans, you might notice.
yeah, yeah. No, I don't. Stakes and hearts just seems like it's a general bad thing. So, what do you want? Do you want to go back home? You want to go back to sleep? I don't want to tear your teeth out. That looks awful. But do you want to? Are you trying to return there, or you just want to get out of Jakeways,
Uh
or do you want to live in this weird place we call home. It's a good
I think
city. I mean, there's lots here, lots of opportunities.
I, I think I'd like to live in Jakeways, but I can't live with looking over my shoulder. Is there a way I can be?
Yeah, we're gonna have to get you refugee status, which is hard considering that you might be considered a monster. Um, so getting refugee status for monsters of unknown threat levels is it's complicated. I don't mean to use monster in a pejorative term. It's just it's how the city paperwork is filed. Do you have a place to hide out right now?
I do, but I don't know how long it's going to be safe.
Um, do I know any dungeons that are like basically
Ooh,
non-issues, and so they're like, yeah, we know it's there, but like, there's no problems with it, so it's just effectively like the equivalent of like a boarded up house, but like
yeah,
it's a dungeon
yeah.
that like no one's going there because there hasn't been any problems in it in a while.
Oh man, yeah. Make a
Okay.
roll. I mean,
Yeah.
I just want to know like if your assessment is correct. You know, because I'm sure things get boarded up that should be delved again, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there's even a name for that as things creep in or things change. So
Right.
let's totally
Because
make a roll.
her dungeon probably has guards and hunters and wards and all sorts of stuff wrapped around it, but that's because it's new and a threat. But there's plenty of others, I'm sure.
Yeah,
This feels like it's maybe a wisdom or an intelligence roll. They're both the same for me, but I
cool,
think yeah, let's call it an intelligence roll. It's knowing stuff.
cool. Do you want to do?
Holy shit! check check out that
Wow,
boxcars. Got my
wow.
cheat codes in, Judd.
Yeah, you do. Love it. I was going to ask if you wanted to use your +1 uh,
I
as
know.
one,
I
but
probably
clearly
would
we don't
have
need to.
if I had thought about it, but hey,
Uh,
John, welcome to.
hey, John. Yeah, you know the perfect dungeon. Describe this dungeon to me. Well, why is it boarded up? Why is it a perfect place for this vampire refugee to chill? Do you want to tell me about it? Do you want me to tell you about it? And you
Yeah,
can fill
I'll
in some
tell you
details.
about it. No, I'll tell you about it because I
I'm,
think
I'm
it's
putting you on the spot here. I mean, like, make
yeah,
a
no,
dungeon.
it's great. Well, because now I get to talk about like I get to talk about Micah's history a bit. So I'm down with this. So this is, I mean, it's kind of similar. This is the Dungeon of the Lycanthropes, right? This is the
Oh
it's a
shit!
weird forested dungeon that like always has a half moon in it. Like it's underground, and yet somehow like there's like this like dome above it, and there's like a half filled moon, half filled blood moon in it, and basically was like where a lot of lycanthropes lived until they essentially got human status in Jakeways.
Yeah,
And so there's still some that live there, right? But it's basically considered a non-threatening, a non not a non-threatening dungeon. And yeah, it's this weird, it's like the floor is all stone, like you would imagine as a dungeon, but it's been grown over for ages. So there's like dirt and vines, and there's like trees that have grown through it. It's really high ceilings, and they have this moon that we don't know if it's drawn on the ceiling or if it's somehow there's some sort of planar rift where it's actually kind of coming through the ceiling. Nobody knows because we've never gone up there, but it feels real. It feels like tidal. It feels like it's present. And there's a couple werewolves that just live there, but mostly it's a place where they kind of go to lie low. So, and I think I have some friends there, and I think the city is generally like, we don't want to go into the dark forest, and I think that's what it's called. Is the dark is the Yeah, it's the Dark Forest.
Yeah. And I'm going to add an NPC who lives there, who's kind of the unofficial head of it.
Yeah,
And their name or her name is Lux, and she is a werewolf sapience uh, uh, reform advocate. And she fought for werewolves to be considered people, and now fights for other sapience folks to for for the same thing, like applying for refugee status and being considered a citizen in the city.
yeah, perfect. I'm going to change the name of it to as a riff off of Ross's very fun LARP from Dark Forest to Night Forest, because it's
Nice,
just like perpetually night and the moon is always up.
cool,
So yeah,
cool.
that's perfect. I love it. Thank you, sir. Make those 12s don't happen often, so I like
Yeah, yeah,
making
yeah.
them nice. So I tell her, I said, okay, I've got to go to work. I can't bring you there. There's hunters that are that would spot you on the way. I'm not going to bring you to my home because reasons involving my own prejudices that I'm still trying to overcome as we are having this conversation. So I'm going to take you to another dungeon. Um, and I think that I've got a friend there, and she'll look out for you, and at least it'll be a place you can stay until we can figure something else out.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Does that sound good? What's your name, by the way? I'm Micah.
Yeah, I need a name. I only had 7 days to think of it, and I just was like,
Sorry.
I don't need that. Uh, no, it's cool. Trying to find a name without being too weird and just hold on stealing someone's name. Uh, yeah, that's hard. Hold on, I've got it. I've got it.
Before you say the name, I have an idea for a naming for a designation she might have separate from her name.
Oh, cool. What's that?
So we know the Sorcerer King was the Red Mother, and I'm thinking about like the Umbrella Academy, and they might be just named like Red Child One, Red Child
Oh
Six,
shit.
something like that.
Yeah,
Might just
yeah.
have a designation because if they are just created for the Red Mother, like may not have given them names. Maybe they might.
Right.
She might also have a name as well, but I can imagine her having designation like
Yeah. Yeah, her
Red
name
Child
she
Five,
says you can call me Scarlet.
Scarlet. Awesome. Okay, Scarlet, let's go meet Lux. She's gonna watch out for you until we can sort this out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Lux, is smoking a cigarette out front and says, "Micah, how's it going?"
Hey, Lux, it's good. It's good. Um, I don't mean to always come here. I like walk over. I take the cigarette out of her mouth. I take a puff off it. I give it back because this is the way Mike is. um, and I say, I don't mean to always come here when I got problems, but I got. Mike is about to say friend, and then realizes like, no, that's premature. I got someone who needs to hide out for a little while. She's seeking refugee status, but currently being hunted. She says she poses no threat. Um, Lux, Scarlet Lux.
Hey dear. And like Lux starts to explain herself, like, listen, I'm and she says, "No, you don't have to explain anything. Don't do that. You're fine. Come on. Let's assume the best and let's get you in here." And she says, "Oh, okay, thank you."
Yeah. Thanks, Lux. I'm gonna try and get this approved through official channels, but I just didn't want her walking around the streets with hunters after her.
Yeah, get this paperwork going, will you please, Delver?
Yeah. Yep.
You
You
got a
got
you
it.
got a powerful union behind you. Let's
Yeah. I will see. I will see if I can see what I can do.
all right. Cool.
Yeah, so I think after sort of making sure that Scarlet is, looks like Lux is taking care of her, um, I'm gonna, race back, um, try not to
Right.
be late for work because definitely was longer than I was expecting to be. I think I'm late for work. I don't think there's any two ways about it, right? Like I was on the way anyway,
Yeah.
and this is not a short detour.
Right.
So
Hold on. Yeah, that sounds good. And I think you run in, and your boss Flint is at a desk, outside the outside the locker room, and she looks at you and looks to the clock, and doesn't say anything, but lets you know with body language that, like,
right,
hey, you're late.
yeah.
And
I shrug like, yeah, I know, shit happened. Like
and she says, the the delves have already been picked. I'm giving you what's left, but first,
fine.
I've got a there's a group of hunters here to see you.
Don't 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 you want me to go hop on that delve? I'm late already.
I told Kasan he could do some other things while you waited, so don't worry about it. Why don't you talk to the hunters first? Let's get that done.
All right, all right. Sure. Yep. Sounds great. And I make a point of looking rushed and like I don't have time.
Yeah,
I like grab all my, I grab the dungeon map. I grab the monster, like, because I know I'm going to issue stuff by Kassan, but I grab the things from here and I basically like have my one arm like with everything bundled. And so when I go to meet the hunters, it's like I'm ready to walk out the door. Like I like have
right,
all my stuff and basically I want to give them the impression that I have the least amount of possible time to talk to them. And I
right.
don't even come in the room. I just like lean on the door jamb of where they are. I'm like, hey, what's up? I heard you guys had some questions. I
Yeah,
heard you
yeah,
all
yeah,
had
yeah,
some
yeah.
questions.
Well, we want to talk about these red mother vampires. Former queens, huh?
I mean, anybody can give themselves whatever title they want, but yeah, sounds like.
And seems like they might be people who are interested in gaining some power.
I mean, have any more of them been woken up? I assume
Nope,
that you got the
nope.
place all buttoned
They're
down.
they're sleeping soundly, but there is one unaccounted for. That's a little worrisome.
Yeah, they were gone. They were long gone by the time that delve started. It was probably it's probably a month ago that they were let loose.
Weird thing. One of the locals who lives near there said they saw a young lady who could have been a vampire. Check out the door. Look at the wards. She seemed pretty put out. You think that was our gal?
First off, how do we know who could have been a vampire? I mean, short of turning into a bat or growing fangs, like it seems.
Yeah. All right. Don't get hysterical. Easy.
Anyway, but second, yeah, maybe. I mean, if there was a vampire and she wanted to go back, that seems like that'd be a good thing, right? Head her back
Listen,
home.
you've been in her house. You've seen
Yeah,
where she was laid to rest.
yeah.
You you've got a vibe on where she's going to be more than the rest of us. What can you tell us about this person? What can you tell us about what was what was their queendom like? What kind of things did they do for the sorcerer kings? What kind of mess are we letting loose? What kind of mess is loose in the city?
You know, if I was you, and it's not my job, I'd be less worried about a vampire queen who just woke up and probably has no idea what's going on in the world, and more worried about whoever did it. because this was not an accident. Someone went through a ritual. Someone took the teeth and gave her blood and did all this jazz. Somebody has an agenda to wake up the vampire queens,
Oh yeah,
queen or
absolutely.
queens.
We'll look into that. That's one thing at a time. First, we want
Yeah,
to worry, rather than worry about the person who might be doing rituals or might not be doing rituals, let's worry about the person who might be biting other people. You know what I mean? Just the priorities.
sure. So you want to know how you could catch her, what to look out for.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I think like just to describe hunters, I think like they're in medievalish looking armor
yeah,
that was obviously made by the production crew to look like a bulletproof vest, like very clearly. They've got their hunters badges like on the front of the armor,
yep, nice,
and they very much look like SWAT knights.
nice.
And I think we're leaning into that uh
I'm trying to figure out if Mike is the kind of person who would tell them to go fuck themselves, or who would give them a bullshit answer that had some kernel of truth,
right.
but I don't think. I mean, let's talk for a little bit about like what the power dynamics are between delvers and
Yeah.
hunters.
Yeah.
I suspect, my feeling is that if it comes down to like pulling rank or who's got the most clout, that delvers aren't at liberty to just tell hunters to go fuck themselves, right? Like it's that there's a significant cost to doing that, in
Yeah.
so much as I can't, as a delver, throw one of them in a cell, ruin one of their lives.
Right.
Most I can do is complain to their boss. They have
Yeah.
pretty wide latitude, I assume.
Yeah. And I while we are using police imagery, and I don't want to lionize uh the police as an institution, but I also don't want this city to be like, I want it to be problematic just because it's a large group of people, but I don't want it to be like Gotham City level of mess.
Hmm.
So I think they've got some power. They can make your life difficult. Um, they can make your boss's life difficult, but they're not gonna like throw you in a cell and like ruin your life, generally speaking.
Right. Right.
Just because I don't necessarily want to play that game, and I don't know if you do either.
Not
Um,
really. I just am trying to gauge how
yeah,
deferential Micah really needs to be here, whether or not they can get away with just saying, screw off, do your job, or whether they've got to make something up. And I think it's the latter. I think they've got to give them something, even if it's not useful.
right, right.
So I say, yeah, I mean, as far as I can tell, what went into all this was the what went into all this was this is a combination of the Red Mother, but the Pale Surgeon is you bet. Anybody who is trafficking in strange toxins, scalpels, implements of surgery that should be done in other ways, or that shouldn't exist, fell surgeries. Um, that's what caught. By this point, I probably know Blue's status. Did Blue recover?
Yeah, Blue did. Well, let's hold on.
Should we roll for Blues?
Oh yeah. I just rolled a die I had in front of me. But let's
It's
roll.
fine. Roll and roll 20.
Yeah, I'll do it. Or not, unless you want to do it. Do you?
No, it's fine. Well, yeah,
Uh,
I'll roll for Blue because I'm rolling on account of like Blues.
yeah.
I want to roll
I think it's.
charisma to know how well I could get Blue taken care of. That's
Oh,
what
nice.
I'd like to
Okay.
roll. I'd like to consider this a move on my part rather than just like how did Blue, just
Okay.
rather than just like how did
It's not.
it's like
Yeah.
how well did I take care of my party member?
Sounds good. It was going to be a die of fate, but I like the idea of it being a 2d12 plus one deal. So let's do
Yeah,
it.
and this is not one of my skills, so I don't have an auto success. All right, 9.
Yeah,
So
she's doing okay.
all right,
She's doing okay. I think she's not back in active service.
yeah,
So she's kind of like held in reserve, and I think like you even saw her in the locker room, um, like as you were walking in and out,
Yeah.
and like you both like made eye contact, like, hey, after the hunters, let's chat. And maybe even like she kind of rolled her eyes as you were like, because Flint was like, hey, you got to go talk to these guys. Like she like Blue rolled her eyes like, yeah, I already did. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
right,
Like
right, right.
I see where you have to go. Let's talk after.
Yeah.
And all nonverbal,
Right.
and the head hunter says, great, great. Thanks. We'll we'll let you know how it goes. I always like to keep the delvers who let monsters out into the world know when we clean up their messes. So we'll let you know.
Sure, sure. Tell that to the one who did it.
Yeah, and
Like
there's
it's
like
just a little bit of
yeah,
like repartee. Like I didn't do this. This was
yeah,
done well before I got there.
yep,
You know, and it's sort of pejoratively calling whoever let her loose a delver, which anyway, it's but yeah, it's a little stinging. I could tell. We're neither of us are yeah are exactly we're trading barbs. Um, but yeah, so I think I go, yeah, yeah. Sorry, friends. I gotta make it out to my delve. I'm gonna go check in check in on the team, and I pop over to the locker room and
cool,
and try to catch up with Blue.
yeah. Uh, Save changes, show to players, show to everyone. Boom. Cool.
Again.
Yeah, you get a you get an old tower called Griffin Roost.
Nice.
And they have reason to believe, like basically, the Griffin hasn't figured out a way to get into the gate yet, but it is throwing sheep remains out of the gate and like into the street, into the like the empty lot that people want to do some construction in. Uh, and so it's just like, you know, on a given night or a given day, there can be, uh, 20 to 50 pounds of goat remains
Just toss through the gate.
tossed through the gate. Imagine the parts that like a griffin won't eat.
Right.
It's either a
Bones
goat.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
It's goat or horse,
yeah.
and mule and pony.
And is the gate such that the griffin can't make it through? So that's
Yeah, it hasn't figured out a way to squeeze through yet, and people are a little, and obviously there are worries, but right now it's just littering.
great. Great, great, great. Okay. Great. Griffin Roost is. And is the entrance, let's see, let me see if I can pull that up again. Is the entrance to the roost kind of this tower? Like you kind of go
I think you come up in that bottom area.
okay, in this bottom like this
Yeah,
is okay, great. I
like
love
that's
it.
where you gate in. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's just a portal that the griffin can't get through, but is chucking things through. Dig it.
Yes. Yes.
Dig it.
Yes.
Dig it. Dig it. Dig it. Dig it. Dig it.
And thank you
Um
to my sister-in-law who is an animal behaviorist, so I hear so many, like, not stories from her clients, but stories of things that she has studied over the years, of things that animals, domesticated animals do, and non-domesticated animals do, just from having learned things from her about how animals work. So, a griffin throwing animal parts through a gate just doesn't seem that weird to me. It just does not seem that weird to me, honestly, uh, based on other things that have happened. So awesome. Thank you, Vali. If
I love
not
it.
that not that you're listening, because you have way other cooler things to do tonight, which is awesome, which is great. Uh, anyway, here we go.
All right. I'm making it instead of a handout, I'm making it a what do you call it? I'm putting it in the map. because
Okay.
that way I can now draw on it. And I'm going to
Nice.
put it in the map layer. So now we can doodle on it. We can click on it. We can do the thing where we go boop. So just to clarify, the entrance is here, right? It's this bottom layer. That's where the portal
Yeah.
comes through, and
Yep.
that, when looked down, I presume is like here. But this is a breakout
Yes.
view. Okay,
Yes, it
cool,
is. Yes.
cool.
So yeah, you come through. I will draw on it
Nice.
because this will be fun. Let's make my color red, or kind of a reddish thing. I've got a touch screen, which is fun.
Should be great.
This should totally work. It is not working. Why isn't it working? Boom. Red. Okay. Still not really working. That's cool. What about now?
I'm drawing a little circle. Is
Yep.
that fair to say?
Yeah, that
That's
is
the
fair to
portal.
say. That is
Okay.
exactly where I really wanted to use my damn touchscreen. I was really
I'm sorry.
excited. It's okay. It's not your fault. You did not do this. But yeah, cool. Why don't we do this? Why don't we Why don't you request like what kind of delving support you want for this gig, and then we'll cut to break, and then we'll come back in the midst of the delve.
That sounds great. Um, yep. So yeah, I don't want to get clawed to pieces by a griffin. So the sort of delve support that I want for this is heavy. Like I'm thinking of like falconer's glove kind of equipment. I want something. I want like heavy leathers that will that a griffin can't easily shred through,
Okay.
and a couple uh, on a couple delve support members that are all carrying probably something like somewhere between like a kite and a tower shield. Something that's like something where we can set up shields if we need to, kind of barricade ourselves and split them apart if we need to look through what's going on and make progress, and maybe some good goat meat to use as bait. So
Got it.
that's what I want for my.
Yeah. So you want you so you're not really so that's not so much about the delve support. That's like you want some extra you're petitioning for some extra items added to the checklist.
Yes, yeah.
Interesting.
Is
Cool.
that is that is that is that a reasonable thing, you think?
It is. I feel like it's a totally separate role, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
Uh
So why
awesome.
don't I make a check to see how that goes, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
when you ask for extra items off the list, I think you made a move for that, right? I
Uh,
feel like when you first presented me the list, you said like, if you want something not on the list, roll. And
uh
does that sound familiar?
when you check the gear on the pre-delve checklist, roll 2d6. On a hit, everything is there. On a 7 or 9, something
Oh,
is damaged or askew.
never mind.
Um,
It
yeah.
was when you're checking the existing gear. Okay,
Yeah.
so we got to make a new move for when you petition for new gear.
Yep.
But right now, I'm going to roll charisma to petition for some goat meat and some heavy leathers.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
Make
yeah,
that
yeah,
roll. I
yeah.
am really curious.
Let's see if I can pull up Micah. There we go. I forgot. I can just roll boop like that. Oh God, the
Nice.
dice are on fire tonight. Yes.
Yeah, I think there was a a there's the neighborhood butcher is like across the street,
Nice.
and there is also a leather shop in that neighborhood that is happy to make you some gloves. They're not sure it's going to be griffin proof, but they're heavy leather.
Nice, nice, nice. So I love this idea because I was envisioning it. What I had in mind, I like less than this. So I'm going to say what I had in mind, but please do not
Cool.
retro it. I was envisioning it like getting it from the Delve, like going to my boss and being like, "Hey, I need these extra supplies." But I way prefer the sort of teachers thing of like, "Yeah, you get, here's your supplies and anything you want for classroom. Besides that, you got to figure it out on your own." So I way
Yeah.
prefer the notion of like, because it's a community thing, a Delver can kind of go to people in the community and be like, "Hey, I got to go in here. Can you
Right.
help me out?"
Yeah, and I think it's a little
And
bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both. I think, you know, you you know, Flint would have helped you like make forays into the community, or would have been like, oh yeah, there's a really good butcher right across the street. Just go there,
right,
because I think Flint has this bird's eye view of everything,
yeah, I love it.
and so cool,
Awesome.
cool.
So, two questions, because I know you want to hit break. One is, should I also make a roll to see about getting Delve support? And two is, I want to make sure that I ask Hassan about filing paperwork for refugee status, right? Like I want to do that even if we do that after the break or whatnot. I just want to make sure, or even if we flash back to it or whatnot after the delve, I just want to make sure I'm talking to Kassan about like what do I do with Scarlet.
Right. Uh, yeah, let's talk about that after the break.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, fuck it. Let's talk about it now. I think
Okay.
you go to her and ask. You go to Flint and you ask her about.
I'm going to
Uh,
Kassan, my union rep.
oh, okay. You're going to the union rep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Kassan is waiting for you. Sitting on the back of a cart. Uh, eating an apple. And waiting for you outside of this empty lot. As the sun goes down, and Kassan says, and I think you've just said, ask them a refugee status. What you think the Griffin's going to be a refugee? I don't understand.
No, no, it's from another. Theoretically, hypothetically, if someone was classified as a monster, but they're sapient, and they're saying that they have no ill intentions for members of the city, they can file for refugee status, right? Like they can, but I think it's more complicated if they're considered a monster.
Yeah, that should have been in the Delve paperwork.
Well, what if it wasn't in the Delve paperwork? What if you didn't find out about it till post Delve?
What do you
Just
mean?
asking hypothetically, right? If someone were to find out that they went on a Delve and then somebody came out of it.
Oh, the red vampire contacted you after the Delve got closed.
And I kind of look around surreptitiously and like, look, she's got a bunch of hunters up her butt. I don't need them following me around either. I've put her in a safe place for now where she's not going to hurt anybody. No one's going to hurt her, but she needs the next step. And I don't know what that step should be. By the time I was made a lycanthrope, it was already the lycanthrope, human status had already been not lycanthrope non-monster status had already been gotten through. I mean, that's why it was part of the program. That was why it was something you could just sign up
Yeah.
for.
He's like, you've got to fill out, man, there would be a name for this piece of paper. Like there would be a name for the piece of paper that you have to fill out because you forgot a piece of paper in your first report, right?
Right.
You've got to fill out a split the party. That's what it'd be called. Like never split the party, right?
Yeah.
You've got to fill out a split the party. Like
It's like an addendum to your old notes, right? Like, because you could at any time be like, "Oh wait, I remembered something that I didn't write down," or "Oh wait, I have new information." You know,
you could, but you're kind of throwing Flint under the bus if you do that a lot.
No,
I mean,
this is me asking you, clarifying
oh,
with you, Judd, like
got it, got it.
what this is like. Like,
Yeah,
when you
yeah, totally. Like a split the party is totally an addendum.
Yeah. Got
It means you forgot to put something in, and there's like probably a checklist. I now want to make this piece of paperwork because there would totally be a thing of like, I have been dreaming about this dungeon and they are strange dreams that might not be natural, right? Check. Right, like
I
that
was
would totally.
contacted by an astral
Yes,
creature, by a non
yes.
corporeal creature after the dungeon
I
during.
don't believe I am possessed, but yeah,
Yeah.
total.
All
Oh,
right.
appendix N. Very good, Roger. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. It is technically an appendix N. Yes. Uh, it's it is this thing you have to file, uh, that that's like, oh, and you're like doing the shittiest one, which is often called a split the party, which is like, I just forgot to put this in here.
Yeah.
Like, it should have been and it isn't. And so yeah, Kasan says, if you fill that out right now before you go in, and I'll take it back and file it while you're in there.
All
Uh,
right. Okay. Oh, sounds like a headache. All right.
yeah, this is a headache. But
Yeah.
you've got the right to do it. It's not. I've had some assholes who come to me a month later and are like, "Oh, I forgot. I took a trinket." So this is way less bad than that.
Well, I promise you, I just ran into her today. I didn't know.
I know. I know.
Okay. I think I'm gonna roll intelligence to fill out this form.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take my +1 from my last delve
Oh,
because
nice.
I'm literally using this based off of the last
Yeah.
delve. So it feels
Yeah.
it
Yeah. Yeah.
feels it feels like it's right. So I don't think
Cool.
I can add +1. So we're just gonna add one. I'm gonna click on intelligence. We're gonna add one to this.
Sounds good.
I, okay, now it feels rude. Now it does feel like the cheat codes are out. All right, so that's a 12 because.
Nice.
So
Yeah, I think
yeah.
it gets slid right in. I think Flint hadn't filed it all yet, and so like, because you got it to Kasan, like Flint was still working on it, and so
Oh,
like,
can we say that because Blue's status wasn't sure, she didn't want to submit it because she
yeah,
was like, "Is Blue going to turn into a vampire or not? I don't want to submit the final paperwork until I know." And so we were holding off on it for a bit.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love
totally.
it. Dungeon bureaucracy at its best.
I am hearing like an OSR review of this. It's like, Judd and Sean make dungeon delving boring. It's amazing. They somehow find the paperwork around dungeon delving, and have made it an administrative mess. It is only a matter of time before Sean has his character in game make a whatchamacallit, an Excel spreadsheet,
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say he pulls out the abacus in game, but yeah. All
and
right.
Judd forces him to do a PowerPoint presentation.
So let me
Uh,
roll. Let me roll for delve support, and then we'll take a break. We'll
yeah,
figure out what goes. It goes.
yeah,
Okay. So this is me asking for my delve support, and I got a 7.
cool.
So you can figure out.
What
I
that means.
wanted two. I wanted two sturdy folks with big shields. So we can
Yep,
figure out what that looks like.
cool. 7. I think you got a hit. So yeah, I think you got two sturdy folks with shields.
Okay,
But they're not all stars.
that's fine.
And we will create them after the break.
Excellent. All right, so friends, we'll be back in a few minutes, and yeah, stretch, get some water, file your dungeon delving appendix paperwork before it's too late, and we'll see you soon.
Get your paperwork in on time.
I'm back.
Cool.
Good to go. Good to go live?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, we are back. Actual play, World of Dungeons, in the wake of the Sorcerer Kings. Micah is about to go into the Griffin's Rook, the Griffin's Nest, and I've secured some assets to go in, and hopefully Kasan's gonna help file my paperwork, and Scarlet will have refugee status next thing, I'm sure. No problems. Can't imagine any complications here. Yeah, you ready to do this delve?
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Here it is. All right. Who have I got? Who's my party?
Yeah, you get 2 shields. I think you get Dole from last week,
Perfect. I was hoping I'd get Dole.
and and who else? One more name. Bloom.
Bloom.
And yeah, Dole is the same. You know, I'll describe her again. She's a I think most people are human. I think the when we run into non-human folks, it's going to be pretty rare.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Jakeways is a pretty human centric place, and that just feels like the type of fantasy we're doing.
Yeah. I don't feel like elves and dwarves are. It's not that they can't exist. I just don't think they're in the setting predominant in significant ways, right? Like
Yeah,
they might show up, but they're
yeah,
not. Yeah, commonplace.
yeah. I think it would be a rarity. But yeah, Dole is a squat barrel of a woman uh, who keeps her hair cut short for her helm, and you know gets real. You know, has a you know, one thing I was thinking about for the shields is do we have like pistols in this world? Like, where are we tech wise? Like, are we wheel lock, or are we, you know, do they have weird wand pistols, or is that a thing, or do we want to kind of stay away from firearms entirely and just kind of keep it medieval?
Well, we've introduced hydroelectric power and dwarves or elves or DLC. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. We've introduced hydroelectric power and pneumatic tubes.
yeah,
I don't know where those fall along the lines with flintlock pistols, but it sounds to me like that's a thing that could exist.
cool.
What's China Maville's city? New Corbizon.
Yeah, yeah.
We've talked about that a little bit. China Maville as a touch point, and I don't remember because it's been a long time since I've read the books, but like I don't remember if they had pistols, but that feels to me like the kind of thing would have. But I imagine that even pistols have a little bit of even pistols have a little bit of mundane, but yet still magical or alchemical components. Like that, the gunpowder is some sort of alchemical concoction that isn't
Yeah,
isn't trivial to make. And so,
cool.
yes, they exist. Theoretically, anybody could get them, but the inner workings of them are not super well known.
Cool. Yeah, I think Dole has a pretty big shield, and like instead of it just being straight across like a kite shield, there's a little divot
Mhm.
for like a
Little barrel,
pistol
yeah.
in the middle, and then there's like another divot on the outer corner, so that she can go either way, and she's got like 3 like under her arm that that as Roger said, firearms carry a whole new layer of paperwork so
Yep.
much.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Was there a discharged firearm? Yeah, we got a form for that. Fill
Yep.
that out.
Yeah, that's
It's
why.
a real
It.
headache.
Yeah, that's why Micah never carries a gun. It has nothing to do with not killing people. It has nothing to do with not being violent. It has everything to do with I hate filling out the paperwork.
Absolutely. Uh, that's awesome. So, postal paperwork. Oh yeah, that's right. Got it. The handouts, the wheel vault. Cool. Do we want to go over the uh the I guess we already did the equipment.
Well, I don't think I rolled to see if all the equipment, the standard
Is
list of
there?
equipment. So,
Okay.
can you give me that standard list again somewhere that I can throw in roll 20? Just because last time I
Yeah.
remember I was forgetting it and I wanted to like
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to look. I only remembered a few things off of it. So
Let me put it on the handouts.
cool beans. Thank you.
Uh, Pre-delve equipment checklist. Choose a file. Yeah, absolutely. And we'll go over that. Is that everything? I think that's everything. We will go over that real fast
Sounds good.
before jumping in. But yeah, Dole is just a squat linebacker or a squat, maybe, offensive tackle of if you're a football person. And I think Bloom is uh, more of a duelist. So like Bloom has whereas Dole is kind of heavy shock and a bit a mace and a shield and some pistols. Bloom is you wanted like heavy shields, and
Mm-hmm.
Bloom has like a little round
Little
shield
buckler.
yeah, a little buckler that kind of goes around his fist, and then an arming sword, as if he's gonna do a judicial duel. And I think the thing was, back when there was a tradition of judicial dueling in Jakeways, that is exactly what Bloom did.
Yeah, but now there's no more sorcerers who need duels fought for them. So yeah, I love it. I love the idea that like that just isn't a thing anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Micah's so like how many times have I talked to somebody about their game when I can tell that they're like ages away from having their game ready and they feel like their game is like ready to publish right now. That this is my feeling of like this is how I'm interpreting Micah's feeling of like seeing Bloom right now.
Right.
It's like I see people and like, yeah, I like this game. Like I think I'm gonna publish it. I'm gonna kickstart it next week. And I'm like, your game is like 2 years. Yeah, it needs like 2 years more of development, right?
Right.
And
Right.
it's not that the game is bad. It's just that games take forever to make, and I see all of these missing pieces, and I have the publisher's perspective on it, and not necessarily the like, oh, I just got it good enough that I can play it, and I'm really
Right.
excited about it perspective.
Right.
So I think that's Micah's look at Bloom of just like they're just sort of like gnawing on some jerky when Bloom shows up, and they kind of scrunch their eyes, they kind of scrunch their eyebrow, and they're just like, well, I mean, it's how we learn, okay, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, they try not to be condescending or patronizing. It's just like not what they had in mind, but you make do with what you got. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Did you want to articulate the checklist again, or
Oh
should we
yeah,
just
absolutely.
roll?
I think Kasan has like his spiel. He sits everything out, and he says, "All right, uh, let's make sure we got all this. Um, let's check this off, get it signed, and then I'm going to run back to the chapter house and get this get this Appendix N filed. Ready? We got the Delve sack. That's where everything is in. So boom, let's check
Got
that
it.
off. I don't know why whoever made this list didn't put it at the top, but anyway, it's in the middle. We'll check it off. 10-foot pole. He grabs a little retractable 10-foot pole. Not really a weapon, definitely more of a prodding thing. Couple pieces of chalk. Again, I think like they're not like long pieces. I think they're just
No,
like
I think they're
little.
like little
Yeah,
nubs. Yeah.
yeah, totally. 12 iron spikes. You know, throws them out. A couple of them are bent a little funny, as if yeah, as if something bent them. A mallet, a lantern. I think this one is an oil. This is an older set, and so it's actually like an oil lantern.
Mm. It's not.
Uh,
It's not a. It's not an artificer's globe. Got
it's
it.
not an
Oh.
artificer's globe. No, this one is oil. Uh, there is a crow's axe, which is an axe with a crowbar at the end.
Mhm.
Uh,
We see it featured in the Delvers Municipal
oh yeah,
down here in the
yep,
Delvers Union.
yep, absolutely. Uh, 3 pencils, 80 foot of rope, and I think he realizes that like you're not someone who's going to measure everything out, right?
Yep.
So he's
Yeah. I
kind of
think we
like,
established that. That I'm like,
yeah,
don't measure out that 80 feet. Throw it to
right,
me. I can.
yeah,
Can I see there's no like cuts in it? Nothing. No, it's not afraid too bad. Okay.
yeah. Uh, you know, grapple, and he says, "Do you want the grapple is still tied to the rope?" And he's
Yeah.
like, "Do you
Leave
want
it.
the grapple tied or just
Just leave it. It's fine. I mean,
uh,
I don't know how I'd use a grapple without it being on the rope, so
yeah."
it's all good.
The official delving user union's monster manual is a year. They publish them like every 2 years, but like this one looks like it had been like lit on fire at some point and like or maybe beaten someone out who was on fire.
Hmm.
Uh, he takes out of his pocket three little homing bats in tube cages, and he says, "Remember to feed them before you go in, so they know to come back to where they were last fed. They'll roost near there if you are in dire trouble." One roll of delving tape. It's more like half a roll, but it'll do.
And
Uh,
delving tape, just I think this is the one thing I didn't realize. Is it like a tape measure? Is it like electrical tape? Is it like?
yeah, so a friend of mine was a gaffer on film sets, and
Mhm.
so it's better than duct tape is like gaffer's tape.
Oh, I've used
It's
gaffer
just
tape. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. It's
So
stretchy and tough. Got it. Got it. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I picture it like gaffer's tape.
Cool.
Uh, thank you, Wit. A 100 ball bearings, in a little sack, throws it in because he knows you're not going to count it. 3 days of rations, probably freeze dried in a container. 1 day of water. He says I filled it up nearby from a fire hydrant. One empty canteen. A waterproof, fireproof delving envelope where you can put whatever you want to put. One heavy blanket, which Kassan always says, like, this thing has been used to save more people's lives than maybe anything else in this whole bag. And he checks your raiment, your boots, rubber overalls, overcoat, undermask, helmet, rubber gauntlets, and then he goes down the community checklist. He says the block elders have been notified. They're thrilled. Uh, they the hospital cart will be gone for about an hour because I'm gonna bring the cart back with me to go to the chapter house, but I'll swing around and come right back. The firehouse has been notified, and I've let the priests at the nearest temple. And he says like the nearest temple is like 3 blocks north.
I kind of look up at it and go, okay, yep, yep.
And then he says approved substitutions, and he writes down like goat's meat, heavy gloves. He hands everybody their heavy gloves. Gives you a bunch of a bunch of goat's meat in butcher paper, and says sign here.
All right, let's. Yep, yep, looks good. And I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm gonna roll to see if it's all there. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
Or
I'm
if
just rolling straight 2d6, or am I?
yeah, I think so.
I don't remember the move. You want
Maybe
to
it's
pull
two
it
d
up?
six plus level, so 2d6 plus 0. Yep.
Okay, got a 9, so something's missing.
Something is damaged or askew. Um, yeah. Uh, we'll figure that out.
Yep, we'll figure out when I go to use it. What's damage or skill. Love it. All right. So plan is we're just gonna go on there, shields up, in case that griffin is right at the gate, because we've heard telltale that they're uh, we've heard telltale that they've tried to squeeze through before, so they might be right there when we get there. That's why we got the big shields, and I kind of look at Dole's shield. That's why we got the big shield, and we're just gonna hunker down um, until we get the lay of the land. And once we're inside, then we can start figuring out what to do. Ideally, I want to figure out what's pissing this griffin off. Maybe sweet talk it with a little goat meat, and just get it to fucking get it to stop throwing a fit.
Right.
We just don't need goat carcasses in the city, in the streets anymore.
Yeah.
Good. And look for nods,
Yeah.
and then I head in. Dole, you're up front because you got the shield. I'm behind you, and Bloom, you're right behind me.
Yep.
And yeah, we plunge into the portal.
Cool. It clearly is built into a cliff. In the same hemisphere as the one that you're in, because it's also getting towards dusk. You know that so yeah.
Is there any natural light that makes its way into here?
A little bit.
Cool.
A little, like, I think it's dusk, so I think
Yeah.
like a little bit is coming down, but not a whole lot.
All right. Well, before we do anything, we just kind of assess: are we being attacked by a griffin? Right? Like this is like first, and if not, that's when I
Yeah.
light the lantern and start looking around.
Yeah.
What's in this? What's in this space?
Yeah, it is. It is a barren wooden, not barren wooden, a barren stone, carved area. It looks kind of almost rough hewn,
Mm.
and across from you is, like right on this southern wall is another gate.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
Yeah, and it did not come up in the in the map.
Oh, man, I've got all like my rubber gloves on and everything like that. And I'm just like looking at the envelope where you put like the map, the Dungeon Delve notes, and I'm like, okay, Bloom, Dole, let's remember we gotta put this in the Delve record. Let's see what's on the other side of that portal. That might be whatever's pissing off the Griffin. I'm gonna peek in there, Dole. You keep an eye out. You stay here with Bloom, and you keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Make sure that Griffin isn't coming to take a bite out of either one of you.
Yeah.
Watch, just cover me while I pop in there. Just get a sense of things. So I'm gonna make my way over. I'm looking up, got the lantern, trying to make sure that nothing swoops down from us on the way to the gate. And
Right.
once we kind of got positioned in front of the gate where we're facing, I've got Dole and Bloom sort of facing outwards. I take the lantern and I like try and hang it on a hook so that they have light. And I'm just gonna trust my wolf eyes in the night on the other side of this portal, if it's assuming it's dark there. And yeah, and I pop through
Yeah.
the portal, see what's on the other side. So just to get clarity, it's like on this side, like it's on the other side of the chamber.
It's like, no, it's actually closer.
Okay.
It is. Oh, there. I actually drew something. Is where these three dots are. Yeah.
I do not see. Oh, yeah, there we go. Got it. South
Yep.
wall.
It's like
Perfect.
right where that is. Is another. Another one.
Right.
Cool. You. So they position themselves like in front of the gate.
Exactly.
And I think weapons are out.
Oh yeah.
And but they're kind of like waiting for you. Like, what do you want to go in? What do you want to do? They don't say that, but they look to you like, are we moving in?
I say I just want to see what's on the other side real quick. If it needs more exploration, I'll bring you in. But for right now, you just face that way. And I'm sort of pointing to like where the griffin might drop down on them.
Right.
And and just cover my back. I'm gonna pop in real quick. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna be out. I'll be right back.
Cool.
And oops. So yeah, I'm gonna go through the portal on my own because that's a safe thing to do.
Awesome.
And I'm making these little notes of gate to Jakeways.
Yeah.
Gate to somewhere.
Love it.
And I assume I feel like the sort of the portal technology, the portal physics is that you can't like just pop your head in. You kind of got to go all the way through. Does that sound
Yeah.
right to you? Like you
That
step in.
I like that rule. Yes.
Like
Yes.
yeah.
Cool. You step in. Tell me about your posture. Like, tell me about like how you step in. Do you like step in and go to one knee? Do you step in and you're like, ready for?
Yeah, I think I'm stepping in. I'm very cautiously. So I've got kind of I don't have any weapons drawn, but I do have kind of my hands up, like in case a griffin's going to attack me, I can guard my face, and I'm crouched kind of low, and I'm crouched, hands up, and just trying to take up as little space as I can. And Mike is not a small person, so like it's scrunching down, but they're still not tiny.
Cool. Cool. You come in what really seems to you like it doesn't seem to you. I mean, you're a pretty good judge of this, right? You go through and you know that you are in a former Sorcerer King's tower that is now inhabited by a wizard.
Got it.
And you hear someone in the distance say, "Cassius, it took you a while. Did everything go all right?"
Sorry, friend. Not Cassius. You want to come down here and we can talk about your unexpected visitor, meaning me, and my unexpected visitor, meaning you? I'm with the Delvers Union. I got a union card right here. No, licensed inspector. No, nobody's raiding no one's pillaging or raiding your tower. But I do need to talk to you.
Yeah, and I think a magical mouth appears on the wall. It says, "This is not a recorded message. I am speaking to you through this. I do not trust you."
and Micah just shaking. Micah doesn't know whether or not they could be seen or not, but they're just shaking
Right.
their head like, "How rude! You couldn't just make." I know you were right around the corner. I go, all right. I'm Micah. I'm with the miners. I'm with the Miners Delvers Union of Jakeways. You are an uncharted gate from Jakeway. You're connected to an uncharted portal from Gateways from Jakeways. Are you aware of this?
I know that the Sorcerer King who once operated here had a gate that they used to uh, access their Griffin mounts.
All right. Okay. I'm piecing this together. And are you currently having any Griffin activity of your own? Are you taming, breeding, harnessing, capturing, killing, fighting?
I sent my hireling to get some eggs so that I could begin raising them. I've recently acquisitioned a few tomes about the proper raising and training of Griffin mounts.
Do you literally not know that we made a game about this exact same folly? Have you never played Griffin Ball? It's
No,
we
I've never
made it.
played Griffin Ball. It sounds ridiculous, like a ridiculous pastime.
It's a pastime that came up from all the people who got killed trying to steal eggs from griffins. Cassius is probably something that rhymes with Cassius but means dead. Slashius. I don't know. I can't help a friend. But
Your vocabulary is unfortunate.
well, do you have a word that means dead and rhymes with Cassius? Look, how much do you know about Griffin egg or Griffin raising? Just what you read in a book, or have you done it yourself?
I have not done it myself. No, the Sorcerer Kings did it. They had
Look,
servants who did it, but they are all gone.
right. So maybe the things that left with them should stay with them. Maybe we should just give up on Griffin, just let Griffins do their thing. Just let big birds be big birds. I'm not trying to capture, train, or make mounts out of them.
I am a wizard. I will do what I wish to do.
Of course you are. All right. So I need to know for the record, can you confirm that you continue to intend to antagonize the Griffins regardless of consequence?
This sounds like some sort of official question. What are the consequences if I say yes?
Just that I'm going to put it on record, and when someone asks me why are these Griffins losing their minds, I will say because this wizard keeps trying to steal their eggs.
Yes, you can put whatever you want on record. Jakeways has no
No
power here.
jurisdiction. Yeah,
No
yeah.
jurisdiction.
What's your name, wizard? What can I call you by? What's your title?
I am Calabase the Blue.
Well, I'll tell Calabase the yellow that he should keep his color. I'll tell Calabase the yellow that nobody's stolen his color. That was a joke. There isn't a Calabase the yellow.
Yes, I am aware. I do not find your humor. You are currently trespassing, and I am being incredibly merciful.
Well, Cassius may very well be trespassing yourself. So tomato, tomato. You know, you're stepping into our realm as much as I'm stepping into yours.
Mm-hmm.
And I piss off any griffins in yours. All right, I'm going to go back through this portal and see if I can figure out what's made the griffin so upset. Presumably, it's Cassius trying to steal their eggs. And I'm going to see if I can set that straight. Would you like a report when I tell you what I found? Just so
Yeah,
you know, like if I
I
find,
feel
say,
like
Cassius dead
so I've been
on a
waiting for like
rope,
when's the moment we should roll, and I feel like this is the moment when we should roll because I feel like you've just offered to do something actually kind of cool.
yeah,
And so like, does that turn him around, or is this guy just an irredeemable asshole? Let's learn that right now uh through your charisma roll
that sounds great.
because I need to know, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, Micah hasn't exactly been friendly with him because Micah's is annoyed by
Yeah,
by would be sorcerer kings. But yeah, I'm offering to go find out what happened to Cassius for him.
yeah,
So let's find out how that goes. Oh man! All right,
yeah. And I
another
think
box card.
cool. The mouth fade the mouth on the wall improved. In
Proof magic mouth.
the improved magic mouth goes away, and or Calabase's improved magic mouth goes away, and Calabase comes out, and I think he's every bit of a Vancian, overwrought, ridiculously dressed, wizard, with facial hair that would make a Civil War officer blush, and he says, Cassius was an important part of this tower. I would appreciate it if you could find out his fate. Yes. Thank you, Micah.
And Micah's like really wants to be mad at Cassius at Calabase, but he's like, but they're like, oh, you're coming around, and like, so they just sort of swallow that because they know, like, oh man, if I just say something snarky right now, I'm just gonna turn him. I'm just gonna turn him bitter again. So,
Right, right.
so I'm like, you got it, boss. And Mike is used to calling lots of people boss. Like that's like not a you got a boss. If I find Calabase and I can bring him back, I will do. I'll do that. And if I can't, I'll let you know what I find.
I thank you.
And I'm like, do I push my luck and see if I? No, I'm gonna find out what I find, and then I will, you know, and then I'll come back, and maybe I'll have some leverage over Calabase. If so, I pop back through the portal,
Yeah, and I
and
think like, uh, yeah, I think you told them to stay put, so they
mhm.
stayed put. Uh, uh, Dole, when you come back, Dole says next time we do that, we should have a time limit on when I come in and go looking for you.
That's a good point.
That made
I
me
thought I
nervous.
was I thought I was just going to peek in and take a look, but there was a wizard on the other side, and I had to talk to him.
Got it.
All right, so here's the situation. We didn't know this portal was here. He doesn't know the other portal's there. I haven't told him. I mean, I think he can put two and two together because I said I'm from Jakeways, but he didn't seem to be realize that there was another. He just knows a portal to the Griffin realm. I figure I don't need to tell wizards about any more portals. They can find that out for their own. But he sent his guy Calabase in here. No, his guy Cassius in here to get some Griffin eggs. My guess is Cassius is now split into, you know, torn it, rendered into 100 pieces, and that's why the Griffins have been so irate. But we should go find out. I don't know if we can make peace with Griffins or not. Just big angry birds, as far as I know. But I say we proceed with the delve, knowing we're looking for a guy named Cassius. It's more than we knew when we first came in, at least. And
Cool.
yeah, let's move along. I mean, obviously, we're kind of keeping shields up. I don't think I have a shield. I'm keeping my like thick leather gloves up in case
Yeah,
something comes diving from above.
yeah, yeah,
I got one leather glove up and like the lantern up, and moving with same order. Dole in front, Bloom in the back, me in the middle,
yeah.
and
Yep. And I think there's like, rough hewn stairs that go up until there's like a hole in the ceiling.
mhm.
And then there are like some stairs down into like a cave network that is totally unmapped, and is just kind of darkness. But then like up above, you can hear uh, like a loud chirping, like some kind of chirping noise.
Yeah.
There's something alive up there
Yeah.
at the top of the tower.
Well, it stands to reason that a rook would be in a tower
Right.
anyway, feeling like if we want to get some overtime, we could probably map that. We might get a little mapping pay if we go down there. If there's anything interesting, or we spend hours and hours trucking around in a cave getting nothing done. I'm gonna as delve leader, I'm gonna say let's stay on point for now, but there might be some bonus pay to map that out. So yeah, we head up, and it's stairs going up, right? I assume it's circular stairs because we're at the tower.
Well, it's stairs going up until you get kind of. I mean, from what I can tell from this awesome map,
Yep.
um, it's stairs until you get kind of to the tower,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's kind of like a hole that you have to climb.
So it's stairs till like here.
Yeah,
Okay, and then we're climbing into effectively, this space.
yeah.
All
I
right.
think
All
yes.
right.
That's
Yes.
how I'm reading it.
Yeah. Perfect. I say okay. I don't want. I'm not sending anybody in there to be Griffin lunch.
They're nodding.
Dole, can I? Okay. Here's what I want to do. I want to take, and I'm sort of saying this both to you, Jed, as the GM, and also like Micah, sort of spitballing
Yeah.
with them out loud. Dole, I want to take your shield and throw it through the hole. Maybe just cover the hole with it. Then I want to climb up there myself and get underneath it. And if it's clear, I'll pull you. I'll have you both come behind me. But I'm not sending you first in there if there's maybe a pissed off Griffin.
Cool.
So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Cool.
Is there danger afoot? Should I make a roll here?
I mean, I think you're just like putting a shield, like, you're throwing the shield up so that it covers the hole, right? Like at the top of the tower, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like that's not dangerous. It's just, I think like you hear kind of like a bit of a shriek, but nothing too terrible.
Yeah.
And then you hear beaks hitting the shield. Ting, 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 ting.
I look back and I'm like, well, answered that question.
Ting, but like it's really like a ping. And Dole says it doesn't sound like there's much power behind that.
Now it sounds like they're just curious. Probably chicks. I think if that was a full blown Griffin, that would have been like thunk.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hold on. I wonder if this is a monster manual moment.
Yeah.
Like what's the beak strength? What's the penetrating strength of a griffin of a griffin beak of an adult
totally.
griffin beak? Can it puncture a shield?
Yeah. Oh man, I love this. Yeah, you should totally look that up.
All right.
I think it's accessing information from the monster manual. I think is straight up intelligence because I think it sometimes things just aren't where they're supposed to be, and the book is definitely a work in progress.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, at least last time I was just sifting through it for pictures, but this time I'm like, cool. I'm going to the G section.
Yeah.
At least I can run it down, and I'm like, all right, Dole, hold the lantern, and I'm gonna see if our records match up with my expectations. So let's make an intelligence roll.
Cool.
I got a 7.
Awesome. So I think the medium hit is because you get the information right as the information comes to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you literally like are looking at 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 a picture whose caption is, a pencil drawing picture,
Hmm.
whose caption is, uh, Griffin claws and beaks have been known to rend, you know, plate mail worn by knights,
Right.
and their back claws, while dangerous, are not as dangerous to the armored, but they are still, you know, large lion claws that should not be ignored by anyone. And once the armor is rent, then the back claws can really do some damage. And at that point, at that moment, a beak, uh, the mama comes home, and I think like you realize there was like a whoosh of air that you just like thought was the wind, but
Hmm.
it wasn't, and like a a yellow beak pierces the shield, and like just like comes between like you and the monster manual, right? It's just like,
Right.
oh yeah, now it's reality, motherfucker. And the other thing I think Dole did before she handed you the shield is she took the pistols out and like put them on her
Mm.
armor, like on a brace, just
Right.
so that, like, just to be clear. But
Right.
yeah, you're sitting there reading the monster manual, and then a monster puts its beak through the shield and interrupts your reading, uh, by lantern light, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think, it has, you can hear it, like its wings moving the the chicks, and just like, the first puncture wound has gone through the shield, and now it's like, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think the immediate answer is be startled to shit. Like, oh fuck, like
Yeah, yeah,
try
yeah,
and keep my composure and not drop the lantern and catch my lap on fire, or the monster manual on fire, or Dole on fire, or anything else, and yeah, we like
yeah,
scuttle back. I'm like, sorry, Dole. I'm glad that's not one of us, but still, that was a nice shield.
yeah,
Um, all right, well, I think we found the roost. For sure. There's Mama.
yeah. And I
Let-
think like as you scuttle back, like it starts to pound holes into this shield,
yeah.
and yeah,
So,
uh,
question, Judd. I have my two ranger abilities are scout. When you're scout ahead, you always spot the target before it spots you, and wild. You can converse with and attempt to command animals.
oh, fucking awesome! I was just talking to Jonathan today about how much I liked role playing animals in role playing games. Like I
Yes.
literally was just talking about how much I enjoy that today, and how I had a really fun horse interaction with a player character years ago in a Burning Wheel game. So anyway, I was literally just talking about that.
I think I think I took it because you mentioned that on an episode of Daydreaming.
Oh,
You
awesome!
said something similar, and I was like, yeah, that is cool. And I was like, oh, that's an option for a ranger. Hell yeah, I'm here for
That's
that.
great. That's great.
I'm here
Yeah.
for that.
So you wanna
So I don't know if a griffin counts as an animal or not, but I'm gonna try and
fuck yeah, it does.
make some squawks,
Yeah.
and I'm like, hold on, and I haven't explained because this is World of Dungeons where there isn't actually like a built-in setting to justify this. I don't know how, whether this is a supernatural ability or just like something I kind of picked up or something I get
Yeah.
from being a werewolf, but I just thought it was cool, so
Yeah.
I took it. Um,
Love it.
but yeah, I think I make some squawks, and I kind of take I take the crow's axe and I scratch the bottom side of the shield to make some scrape noises.
Yeah.
Griffin interpretive dance. Yeah, thanks, Roger. And I try to say essentially like what angers you, like we're not here to hurt your babies. Um, we come in peace, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Make
Essentially.
that roll. Yeah. I love it.
All right, I'm gonna make a charisma check. I think. Does that sound right to you?
Yes.
Oh my god! I mean, I'm not complaining about good rolls, but
Cool.
it does feel like they're a little
Yeah,
broken. Yeah.
the griffin. I mean, I think the griffin's a simple creature, right? And it says you're human. A human came here. I fed it to my babies. I threw unusable parts through where it came from to let people know there that they shouldn't come back. Uh, I don't see why I should trust you yet at all.
Yeah, and I say I want to. I say, and I mean, this is again like in simplified terms, like the human is not my friend. I'm not with a human. I knew you were. We saw your anger, and I'm looking as the thing, and I'm just sitting here like in front of Dole and Bloom, just squawking and screeching, and I'm like, yeah, I know you're angry. I brought you. I have an offering, and I have an offering for you, uh, uh, as an apology. And like I try to just like at some point like when it's like stopped slamming the shield, like slide the shield away just enough and like chuck the goat meat up there, and
Yeah,
I just throw it in the. I don't even try to unwrap it. They
yeah,
can
yeah,
they
yeah.
can rip it apart, right? It's apology dowry, yeah. Um, and here's a peace offering, basically.
Yeah, and I think you hear the babies like start to rip the thing apart, and you hear like Mama Griffin go like, "No, back! Don't trust humans. They poison shit." And
Mm,
the babies are like, "What is poison?" And they're like, "It's food that will kill you." And they're like, "Who would do that?" And they're like, and the band mom is like, "Humans would do
humans
that
would do
because they're
that.
terrible, and they're and I stand by that." And
Yeah,
so, it sniffs it really carefully and like cuts it open, with its beak, and looks at it really carefully, and then like licks it and says, "Yeah, okay." And so it bites it, and you hear it like, masticate it, and then like spit it into the griffin chicks' mouths, and you hear griffin chicks being like, "Oh, so good," and the griffin mother says, "That was good. You're not going to try to take my children so you can ride them like an asshole."
nope. I don't want to ride your children. That
I
sounded
love the
wrong.
sentences this game generates. Like, I love that I mean the I'm sorry, we thought you were a vampire, we thought you would eat people. Like, I that one works. And no, I don't we don't want to ride your children. Like,
Yeah,
I love that we are playing a game that generates that whatever that is.
yeah,
Uh Fantastic.
yeah. And I say there is a wizard, which is a particular kind of asshole human. It's like an extra human, like that. That's
Yeah, the
like
Griffin says yes.
there's a wizard who sent someone to steal your babies. I want to convince him how bad. I want him to know how bad an idea that's a bad thing to do. Can
Mm,
you give me whatever's left of the man he sent? His
yeah.
his like not his remains. Like I want to show the wizard how bad an idea this is. Like show me this his torn up clothes, his broken equipment, his rent body. I don't really
Yeah. So
whatever's
here's the
left of it.
moment. The Griffin's like, yes, I will do that.
Yeah.
And there's this, here's the moment that I see happening is it starts to push like the bones and pieces of it, uh, pieces of poor Cassius,
Yeah.
into like, into the hole where the shield is.
Yeah, and I've already
And
kind of pushed the shield away a little bit to make room to
yeah,
throw. Yeah, so there's
and there's an accidental moment where it accidentally pushes one of its babies
into the hole.
into the hole, and it just falls it just it's I
I mean,
I
I want to
I
catch
yeah,
this
so
baby.
yeah,
Yeah,
if you want to catch it, you catch it.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah,
there's this moment where like the Griffin baby is like, what? Where am I?
yeah.
And you see these two eyes staring at you from the hole, and you
Right, right,
just see
right.
them like narrow to like angry slits.
Am I gonna murder you? Yeah. So I think Micah caught it just on instinct, like, oh shit, what is this thing? Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, there's a thing and it's falling. I caught it,
There's
and
probably
then
flapping. There's probably flapping,
right, and
right?
then
Yeah.
realizes like what they've done, and realizes how much of a threat this is, and they're like, your baby's safe. I'm gonna help them back up the hole. Please don't bite my head off. Because
Right.
I think I gotta like climb up there to get the baby up there. Like I feel
Oh,
like I
awesome.
can't just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. I think
It's
it's
an
a dex
athletics.
roll.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
And I'm gonna
athletics.
call this athletics. Yeah, I'm gonna call this the athletics skill, which means even on a 6,
Oh, do you
okay.
have athletics?
I do have athletics, right?
Oh, nice,
So
nice,
I
nice,
rolled
nice.
an 8, but just for folks curious about World of Dungeons. Whoops, that was not what I meant. If I had rolled a 6, it would have counted as a 7 to 9,
Right.
but with more complications. So yeah. So, but anyway, I gotta
So does an 8 bump up to a full?
eight still 8.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, I think you've got it in one hand, and you're kind of like chimneying up
yeah,
with your feet, and um I think the Griffin goes to grab the baby roughly, right? Because Griffins can take it.
yeah,
But you really can't.
yeah.
So like the 7 to 8 is, it's not trying to attack you. It's just trying to grab the baby,
Right.
and you're in the way. And so
I get.
I'm
Yeah, it only has
I'm
beaks and claws, right? That's all it's
right,
got. Yeah.
right. I'm gonna roll a d6 of damage.
Cool.
Um, and it's 5 points.
All right. Can I say -1 because of my heavy leathers?
Oh yes, yes, you absolutely can. Yep. So 4.
4. All right. So I'm down to 2 hit points.
Yeah. So I think like yeah, it like, you know, uh I don't even think it gets your hand, right? I think it's just like the hook of it like hooks into your clavicle and
Yeah.
like rakes down. Just it's just not used to dealing with something so fucking fragile.
Right. 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 And for the baby, this is fine, right? Like not
Yeah,
even
it's
hurt.
just it's just like a kitten getting grabbed by the back of the neck by its
Right,
mom. Yeah,
right, 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 right. And I'm like, ah, and I'm like you said, I was chimneying up, so I'm like halfway in the hole, halfway out,
yeah,
and with my one arm, I kind of like I'm trying to like push this griffin out of my lap, as it were, out of my lap in this chimney, and then I think Mama gets it, and a little piece of me as well.
yeah, yeah,
And I mean, I think I howl like because it hurts,
yeah,
It's and I sort of scream a bunch of obscenities, but not like meanly, just like ow, 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 ow,
yeah.
and then I sort of switch back to squawks of just like, it's okay, your baby's okay, right?
It is okay. Yeah, baby's back.
Good. Does that mean it's a werewolf now? No. All right.
Right.
Uh, okay, I'm glad. I'm glad your baby's back. Like I said, I don't want to take your baby.
Good.
I have babies too. I don't want anyone to take them.
Oh, good.
And at this point, I'm like halfway out of the hole, right?
Right.
So I'm just gonna stay there, and I'm gonna kind of, if there's room, take the shield and drop it back down beneath me. I imagine it's tight. I imagine it's
Yeah.
like it's one of these torchbearer moments where like, okay, how do you do? Well, I scooch to the side and I kind of wedge the shield and like push it down till Dole can grab hold of it from beneath me, and then I just look at the remains of Cassius.
Yeah.
I assume they're pretty grisly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. It's pretty grisly. It's
Yeah,
about a week old, and it's been picked clean by by a griffin and the griffin babies, but
Yeah.
give the griffin chicks. I imagine like splayed ribs
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
is where it's at. Ribs stained red, but I also think there's this moment where you lift your head up, and the griffin has all five of her chicks under her wing, and you are on this rook tower, on the top of this mountain range, on the top of the world,
Yeah.
and the griffin like looks at you like, get yourself together and then leave, but like it's not threatening you immediately.
Right.
You've talked successfully with it, and yeah, there's this moment where you're in this beautiful place with this majestic creature and its children, and how many people get to do that,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this job is pretty shitty a lot of times, but I think I just like pause and I like look out of the view and I say, "Yeah, I have a beautiful home." Um, and
I don't think thank you is in like griffin vocabulary. I think it just
yeah,
says yes,
yeah,
yes.
that's great. It doesn't. Yep. Yeah, yeah. And I
uh
think I take a moment. I hope I'm
no,
not
but,
pissing
but, I
you
don't,
off.
but I don't think it's like an ingrateful yes. I think it
Yeah,
like looks with you, right? And it's
yeah.
like, yes, yes, it is beautiful. Your home is not beautiful.
I like my home. My home has character.
Good. You have good goats at your home.
We have good goats.
that that'll make up for a lot.
I kind of look at like the bare remains of the goats, and and I just can't help but think like this is exactly how one of the sorcerer kings would befriend a griffin so that they could eventually steal one of their chicks. Like this is the
Right.
same. Like they do the same thing, and so I'm like, yep, we have good goats, but next time someone throws you one, I would check to make sure it wasn't poisonous as well. Like a lot of humans are assholes. Don't trust us. We're not worth it. But,
Mm.
I don't know how well that conveys in Griffin,
Yeah.
but
No,
I
I
just
get
sort
it.
of am like,
Yeah. I think that conveys. That conveys. Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome.
cool. So yeah, one handed, I just sort of pull the remains, and I'm like, sorry, Dole, sorry, Bloom, and I just sort of pull the remains of Cassius down and just drop them down beneath, into the stairs
Yeah.
beneath me.
Yeah. I think you hear Bloom say, "Oh shit," like as this
Yeah,
as this leathery body falls.
yeah. I think it's
And
held together more by clothes and armor and
totally,
that than it is by anything else.
totally, and yeah. Do you and then do you like drop the shield down?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you hear Dole, fucking hell,
Sorry, doll. Let's see if I can get it replaced or fixed.
and yeah, the Griffin like looks at you like kind of carefully and says, "You can get down."
Um, I think there's like a part of me that's like doing this one handed and chipping through this isn't easy, but I'd rather try and do it myself and maybe twist something and pull something than the Griffin help me and chomp a piece of me off.
Right,
So it's
right.
like, so I just say, yeah, I'll be okay, and I try and chimney my way back down.
Hmm.
Do you want me to make another athletics check to see if I
Nope,
can get
nope,
down?
nope, nope. Not interested. I think the interesting thing was like this fraught moment with a Griffin
Right.
chick.
Yeah.
Uh, like, can you climb down? Doesn't interest me in the fucking slightest.
Right. But I
Uh,
think it is a nice question of like, yeah, would you get help from a griffin?
right, right,
I don't think it
right.
wants to kill me, but it might just accidentally sever a
Yeah,
an artery in the process.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, and Bloom says, "What are we going to do with this guy?" And I think like Bloom has like gathered the like Dole is just looking at her shield like, oh, what the fuck, like how what like it's just because it's just like a punctured metal mess.
Yeah.
Like a blacksmith might very well tell her, "Yeah, this is scrap.
It's totaled.
This is
Yeah.
not worth fixing." But yeah, I think Bloom has like gathered the bones of Cassius together into like a pile, right?
Yeah.
Because they probably like fell against the sides and like broke and uh,
That shield was 3 days away from total retirement. Yeah.
I'm too old for this shit. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, Dole, I don't know what to say. I'll try and get that shield fixed or replaced. I don't know what kind of coverage they give you as delve support, but I assume that they're considered sort of freelancers, bring your own equipment,
right, right.
situation. I don't
I
know.
should be able to get this replaced.
It's a
It's
nice shield.
just gonna be a lot of effort, but I guess it did its job.
Yeah, and I sort of like look at this like gnarly gash over my shoulder that I can't
Yeah,
do anything about because I think it's over the shoulder of my left arm. So I
yeah,
can like look at it and go, yeah,
yeah. But I think at that point they notice, right? Because I think
yeah,
Dole has been looking at their shield and Bloom has been looking at the body, and Dole looks up and says, "Whoa, what the fuck happened to you? You're near dead."
yeah. I think I'm kind of pale. I think I've lost some color on my
Yeah,
face, and there's a lot of blood running down. And I say,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The baby fell in my lap, and I tried to give it back, and Mama wasn't trying to attack me, but she was clutched her baby back and just took a little piece of me with her. It was an accident.
Let's get you back.
Yeah, yep, that's a good plan. Let's get back. Mission accomplished. But we got to get this wizard to. We got to stop this wizard from doing this again. So, uh, Bloom, you feel comfortable talking to wizards?
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
great. Will you carry that? Let's go through the. Let's go back through the portal, the southern portal. Give back the remains and let him know this is what he gets when he tries to get wyvern eggs or griffin eggs.
Cool.
Or wyvern eggs. Either way, it's bad. Any kind of big bird, it's bad to. Yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
not because I think I'm too weak to carry Cassius's remains.
yeah,
I think with my arm right now, it's probably hanging pretty limp, and
yep.
I'm just kind of muscling through to try and get to to get this wrapped up. But
What do
I'm
you
not.
tell Bloom, or what was it Dole? You said, can you talk to wizards, or was it Bloom? You said,
Bloom, yeah.
what do you tell Bloom about talking to wizards before you send him in?
Oh, what good advice can I give? What advice would Sean give to somebody about to talk to a chancellor or a dean or something else?
Oh, no comment.
I mean, this is the what I feel like. Um, uh, his name is Calabase the Blue. Um, yeah, yeah. Don't take it personally if he just sends a magic mouth. That is really good advice, Roger. But I think all I'm going to say is you need to make sure he knows that you're impressed with what he's done. So comment on the grandioseness of his. Don't fall over yourself. Don't be obsequious, but recognize his accomplishments
Nice.
and tell him about the impressiveness of his magic or the legends you've heard of him if you have.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah,
Make that charisma roll. I want to see how. I want to know. I want to use this to know how Bloom does,
cool.
or how it goes, I should say, and then we'll see if it's going to escalate into something bad. We'll see.
I got a 9.
Yeah, that goes all right. Cool. You know, uh, yeah, I think
You
Bloom
don't.
comes back. Bloom comes back and says, "I don't think we made any friends, but he was grateful that we returned the body, and he sent his best."
All right, and he's not coming back here for anytime soon.
I couldn't get any promises out of him.
Yeah, wizards aren't likely to make promises to us wee mortals.
Can we fuck up
No.
his? Can we fuck up his portal?
Okay, Sorcerer King. If you know how to, I don't fucks with portals. I'm sorry. There's probably, but I'm about to bleed out. I think hopefully he learned his lesson. I wanted him to see the body so he knew what happens
Cool.
when you go and do this. And
Cool.
my guess is he doesn't have. He said Cassius was an important member of his entourage. My guess is he doesn't have a whole lot of people he can just send to their deaths. So hopefully he'll think twice before doing that again.
Good.
Yeah, and I think we pop out. We head out. We leave the
Sounds awesome.
yeah.
Good. 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 Yeah. Love it. Should
Uh,
we? We've got like a post delve move, don't we?
yeah. We've got like a. Do you want to do post delve paperwork? Do you want to do leaving the dungeon? The
No,
leaving
we
the
don't.
dungeon
We don't
thing?
have to exit. I think there's no.
Yeah,
There's no
because there's
there
no
to.
threats kind of in the way. We're
Yeah.
right at the
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
right at the
Yeah.
door. All right,
We don't need
awesome.
to. We don't need to roll when there's nothing there.
All right.
Um.
So
But
my
yeah.
question is, has it been a short enough time, a long enough time that we've been in here that Kassan is back with the hospital cart?
Yeah. I think. I don't think it was the time we took to play this. Right. I think it took longer than that. I
Yeah,
think it's been hours.
that's what I think too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think, yeah, I think climbing and moving and moving with a slow purpose. Uh, yeah, absolutely. I think
yeah,
it took longer. So
yeah. I think right before we go through, Jed, tell me how you feel about this.
yeah,
Tell me where you think this stands in the like, yeah, this is just some shit people do, or like, oh, this is really unethical and awful. I'm thinking about things like workers' comp and like how much